let's talk about this Fair Repair Act. I want to respond to some of the criticisms that I see a lot on social media as we head into the legislative season, where several states may be actually voting on this bill this session. The common criticism is, why don't you just take your phone to an Apple Authorized Service Provider? Take it to Apple. They made the phone, so they'll know how to fix it, and that's what you should do to get the best repair for your phone. Similarly, if independent repair shops are so great, why don't they just become Apple Authorized? Then they'll already have access to all the tools and information that you need to fix the phone. And I want to show you why it is that independent repair shops would never in a million years become Apple Authorized. Here's why. Because Apple Authorized Repair is not actually allowed to repair. Apple Authorized Service Providers they're not allowed to actually fix phones. Maybe they can do a screen or battery, that's it. Anything else that's wrong with a phone and anything at all that's wrong with an iPad has to just get sent back for swap with a refurbished device. And you'll notice the pricing on that is very strategic. They have extraordinarily high pricing for that refurbished swap for any older model, so that they can kind of harvest from you your repairable phone and recycle it and sell you a newer device. And then for the later model phones, that pricing goes way down so that they can keep you happy and just give you a refurbished device so that you can continue to use. Let's call up some repair shops. 2 of them are Apple Authorized repair shops, and 2 of them are just independent repair shops that are in the area of Lincoln, Nebraska, which I picked because that's going to be where the first public hearing is on the right to repair. Let's see what these guys have to say when I present them with a list of common problems that independent repair shops see every day. Okay, problem number 1. This is an iPad 2 that has no image, but it still connects to iTunes. So that means in an unopened iPad, something has happened so that the LCD itself, the display, has stopped working. That the common fix for this is often just to turn it around and slap it on the back sometimes, and that'll work probably 90% of the time. If not, it needs to be opened up to have the LCD connector formally reseated, and in the worst case scenario would be that the LCD itself is bad and needs to be replaced. So let's call up and ask and see how the Apple Authorized and the independent repair shops respond to this.
Hi Ryan, I wanted to see if you had a couple minutes to chat with me. I've got a few devices that are all Apple products, and I've been trying to find an authorized Apple service provider to help me out with some of these repairs, and I've had a hard time finding one that could perform the repairs. So I'm putting together a little video about what repairs can be done by the Apple Authorized Service Provider. So I was hoping you could help us out with that.
Absolutely, yes.
Generally, iPad 2, it suffered a drop, and now I have it connects to iTunes, but there's no image.
Gotcha. So that you can't see anything on the actual screen. Well, the tricky part with the iPads is that Apple's repair, they never just fix like just the screen or just the battery. To the Apple, I guess we're the only place in town that does the Apple Authorized repair. We send it off to them. It takes about 3 to 5 days just to data set it off, day for them to do the work, and a day to send it back. But usually what they do is they just switch out the entire device. But yeah, that they don't fix just one part. They just replace the entire unit. You'd be looking at $280.
Systems, this is Greg.
Hi, Greg. I was wondering if you could answer some questions for me. Do you have a moment?
All right. What are the nature of the repairs?
So we have an iPad 2. It had a drop, and now it has no image. The screen's not cracked, but there's no image. It is detected by iTunes. It obviously has power, but I can't get an image on it.
Okay. Most of those repairs, Apple has a flat rate of either $199 or $299. Well, it gets sent into Apple, and then Apple will either repair it or replace it with a refurbished one.
Okay, and
they don't tell us which.
Is that the difference in price, $199 to $299?
No, in either case, they may swap it for a refurbished one.
Okay.
Can I help you?
All right, the first one is an iPad 2 that has that has no image, but it will connect to iTunes. So iTunes detects it, but I don't see anything on the screen, and it looks all sealed up like it's never been opened before.
Okay. There's a chance that LCD is damaged. If that's the case, I can replace it. There's also a small chance it just needs re-plugged in to the rest of it. Let me see. If it was a replug, I think we charge $40. iPad 2 to replace those LCDs, it does run probably a little more than it's worth, but you're looking about $190.
$190. Would that be for a new LCD and a new screen, or would you use the same screen, or what?
That'd be for entirely new. I mean, I can't, when I have to order the LCDs, I can't get just the panel from our distributor, so it'd be LCD with glass and all of that.
Chelsea, how can I help you?
Hi, Chelsea. I was trying to get some prices on some repair. The first one is an iPad 2 that has, the display is blank, but it does connect to iTunes. So,
Okay.
what can you do for that?
Oh, so it tells you to connect me to iTunes?
No, it's like iTunes thinks it's normal, but I can't see anything on the screen, and it's not cracked. It looks like it's never been opened.
Oh, okay, I understand now. Okay, so it sounds like you need a new LCD. So you said that's an iPad 2?
Yes.
Okay, that is $80.
Okay. And so do you just use the same screen and just replace the?
We would just very carefully lift the glass off, and then we would put a new LCD under there, and then we would put your glass back on it.
Okay. And how much was that again?
$80 for a new LCD.
Okay. All right, so let's go to the second question that I asked them about an iPhone 5S, where I told them I had broken off a headphone in the headphone port. So most of the time you can try to pull that out, but if that doesn't work, or if there's actual damage to the port, then the job is really to replace the charge port. So for those of you that don't work on iPhones, I want you to see what that repair looks like. This is a 5S, it's disassembled already, so I can take off the screen, and then what I have left is a battery, the logic board, which you can take out, and then we have the charge port at the bottom. The charge port has the headphone jack, the charge port itself, and it's a little replaceable piece. This is what the piece looks like. It goes right in there just like the original. The cost on this is like a $5 part. So let's find out what happens when we tell people that we broke the headphone jack on an iPhone 5S and we need them to do this relatively simple job. Even my 11-year-old can replace a charge port. It is totally a straightforward repair, very, DIY even. You need to, take out less than a dozen screws to switch out this port.
Gotcha. Okay. How about a 5S? There's a piece of the headphone jack broken off in the port.
Well, the hard part is there's no way to get on the back side of it to just push it out. I guess in Apple's repair, they don't really have a way for us just to get in there and pull that out. They probably do the same thing where they switch out the entire unit rather than trying to fix that one piece just in case there's any further damage. I've heard of circumstances where people are able to take a Q-tip, one of the plastic Q-tips, put a little super glue on the end of it, and then see if you can adhere it to it and pull it out. But you want to be. I've never done it personally. They always recommend a lot of caution because if that super glue hits the side of the headphone jack, then you're stuck with a Q-tip in there too.
Sure, that's not going to help.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess I would never recommend it, but that's something I've heard people try to do before. But Apple's repair probably is to send it out to them, and more than likely they don't try and fix just individual parts like that. They just switch out the entire iPhone at that point. And I believe, let me check real quick.
Thank you.
Just walked away from my sheet. You said 5S?
Yes.
Yeah, you should be looking at $279 for that.
$279. Can you guys can you just get the part if I wanted to just replace the charge port? I'm sorry, the headphone jack?
Allow us to stock the parts of the phones. Every mobile device like the iPads or the iPhones, they do require us just through Apple's guidelines to send them those repairs. And just Apple, what they usually do is they don't fix just that port. They just replace the entire phone.
Do you know why? This is what I'm running into. I guess that's my question: is why are they swapping out the entire phone rather than fixing this small part?
From from what I've been told, it's allowed to do with like liability. At that point, to try and fix one of those individual pieces, they don't know if there's any other further damage or anything else that would have happened to it. And a lot of those pieces are all just kind of all soldered together at that point too. So to try and fix one piece, you're fixing most of the phone anyway. So what would have happened to it. And a lot of those pieces are all just kind of all soldered together at that point too. So to try and fix one piece, you're fixing most of the phone anyway.
Okay. All right. How about I have a 5S and the headphone jack. There's a piece of the headphone jack is stuck in there. There's a piece of the headphone broken off in there. I can't get it out.
Generally, that's also a $199 mail-in repair.
Okay. So when you say mail-in, would you mail? Would it something that we would mail directly to Apple, or we would give it to you and you would mail it into Apple?
You'd have to send it to me, and then I have to run a diagnostic and send that to Apple, and then they send me a code, and I send it into them.
Okay.
An iPhone 5S where I broke it's got a broken off headphone jack in the headphone port. What can you do for
Gotcha.
that?
We can try to pull it out for you. We do it pretty often, so usually we're all right at that. If I can't get it out, though, you said it was an iPhone
5S.
5S.
Yep.
For me to replace that, it's like 50.
50. So you would just open it up and replace the charge port on that?
Yep.
Okay. Is that pretty straightforward, or is that something that, because I called the Apple store and they said that could not be done, that it was soldered onto the board, and that I would have to just get the out of warranty replacement, which was $279. I thought that was high.
Sounds about right from them, but yeah, no, pretty straightforward repair. We do it all the time.
What's your warranty on that?
90-day warranty, as long as you don't like get the phone wet or anything like that.
Okay. All right. And you think that just, it's if I just replace the charge port, that would solve the headphone jack problem?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all connected.
All right. Sounds good. The next one is an iPhone 5S that has something stuck in the headphone jack, like a headphone jack broke off, which I tried to pull out, but I wasn't able to pull it out.
Okay.
So
all right. So, well, there's two options there. We can either replace the charge port, which, by the way, the headphone jack's on the charge port.
Okay.
Or I can open it up and basically, I've got very, very tiny tweezers and see if I can pull it out of there. If I can just pull it out without replacing anything, you're looking at probably $25.
Okay.
If you want to replace the charge port, you're looking at $50.
Now, what about that charge port job on the 5S? I called the Apple store and they said that was like soldered to the board and it was not possible to just replace just the charge port. The internet
5S?
seems to act like it's a pretty straightforward thing to do, but
it is. It's extremely straightforward. I'm not sure why the guy at the Apple store told you otherwise.
Yeah, they said
I do them all the time.
Well, they said that they could only swap out the whole device as an out of warranty repair, and it would be $279. And so, and it's not just it's that two Apple Authorized Service Providers told me that. And it just continued on like this. So I'll sum up the rest of the results. The Apple Authorized Service Providers could not offer any repair whatsoever on any iPad. So iPad with cracked glass, iPad with a charge port problem, they can just offer to replace the device. So you give them your repairable device, they send it away, and then they sell you a refurbished device for probably more than the value of your existing device if it's an older model. I asked about water damage data recovery. They said that it was not possible. The independent repair folks said they could give it a shot and then maybe refer it to somebody else that had more experience in board repair to get those memories back. I asked specifically about the iPhone 6 Plus common epidemic of touch disease. The Apple Authorized guys, one of them had never heard of this. This is the single most common iPhone problem ever. What are they doing for the touch disease stuff? Are you guys not allowed to say touch disease?
I couldn't tell you. I've never heard Apple call anything touch disease.
With the multi-touch repair program, the 150 thing for the 6 Plus?
I've never heard it called that.
What do you guys call it? The secret the gray flickering bar thing? What do you guys call that?
Usually it's a screen digitizer replacement.
Well, it is kind of a big epidemic. I mean, I sit here all day, every day, and have a giant stack of phones that have that sort of fairly classic epidemic problem.
I haven't seen a lot of that here.
Okay. I've never heard of that. I'm not familiar with that. Both of them failed to quote me the existing Apple special multi-touch $150 repair. They didn't mention that at all. They did not match my description of the problem with that, and they only offered to just sell me a replacement device, sell me a refurbished device. Now, both of the independent repair places knew exactly what touch disease was, knew it was a board defect, knew that it needed microsoldering. That seems like
that's a pretty common issue. Apple's kind of referring to that as touch disease. What's going on there is you have a chip on your motherboard that's come loose. It's something that we can't do in-house, but we have a company we send it out to.
That is a known issue, and that is basically not fixable unless you can solder very, very tiny things. We can't fix that one. It's a defect with the iPhone 6 Plus.
I asked about an iPhone 4S. Both of the independent repair shops said that they could change a non-working 4S top button for $40 or $50. They both questioned whether or not it was worth it. Apple Authorized Service said, we will not touch a 4S at all. We can't even sell you a replacement one because it's a vintage model, so you're completely out of luck on that. I asked about a standard screen replacement on a phone. Apple Authorized people can do a straight up screen replacement, but I asked them, what about one where there's a little bit of corner damage? Both of the Apple Authorized folks said, if it's got frame damage, then we have to, again, send it out, sell you a refurbished phone, and you're looking at prices like $349 for iPhone 6 Plus. The independents both said, we will, for free, straighten your corner back out with a special tool for that, and then we'll just sell you the regular 6S screen replacement price, which is something in the like 140, 150 range, something like that. So there you go. I hope that this is clear that Apple Authorized iPhone service providers. When you Google Lincoln, Nebraska, you see premium iPhone service provider. You call up those guys. They have no ability whatsoever. They're not allowed. They probably have the ability because kids can do this, but they're not allowed to actually fix repairable phone problems. They're required to just take that away and sell you a refurbished device. The independent repair folks, both of these people, I just cold called them. I don't know these guys. And they knew exactly what I was talking about with every problem description. And they knew sort of what to think about, how to troubleshoot, and be able to get you a really good value for a solution to get your device back on the road. And it wouldn't require mailing it out and waiting a bunch of days. So there you go, and I'm going to end here with the words of the Apple Authorized Service Providers. One of them is going to just sort of tell you exactly that again, and the other guy, I love this line that he says in when we asked him, like, why can't you change the port? Do you think you would be able to if you were allowed? And he said, well, we wouldn't want to start doing that. Well, I'll let you hear what he said.
Okay. Are you allowed to? So, say you had the know-how to do it. You, as the authorized, are you not allowed to fix it?
They do not allow us to, just through their guidelines. We are kind of bound by their rules. Where if we knew how to do it, they still would require us to send them the repair.
Okay.
Due to how they process their phones and old devices. So. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think it'd be a lot easier if we could be able to do it, but they just kind of a big brother put the foot down and don't really give us a lot of wiggle room there. But at that point, we kind of turned into an iPhone repair or an Apple or a phone repair store, and it's just kind of not really the realm.
Okay, so no fix on
Yep.
on that one. Okay.
That's called touch disease. If you Google the issue, it's very talked about on like repair forums and stuff.
Okay. All right. And then I have an iPhone 6S that has it's got a cracked screen, but the problem with it is that the corner of it is bent so that it doesn't really seat the screen, and the Apple Store said they could not do the screen because of that corner damage.
Right. It depends on how badly damaged it is. We can usually take pliers and bend it back into shape well enough to seat a screen. If it is too badly bent for us to be able to do that, then we can always get you a new chassis, because we've got plenty of those around.
Okay.
If we just have to bend it, then we usually don't charge any extra. So you said it was a 6S?
Yes.
Okay. So our pricing, we have two pricing options for the 6S screen. One of them is $179. That's our name brand screen. Then we have a generic brand screen, and that one is $149.
Okay. Okay, and then there's no extra charge for the bend out.
And then for the chassis, well, we don't usually charge if we just have to bend it a little. If we have to replace the chassis, we usually tack on an extra $80 to $110.
Okay.
So I would assume just an extra $80 if we were doing all this extra stuff for you.
Okay, great. And the last one I'm not really sure about. It's an iPhone 4S that works okay, except the power button on the top doesn't click anymore.
Okay, that's a very common issue with iPhone 4Ss these days. Pretty simple fix. I believe that's about $40.
Okay, all right, sounds great. Okay, that is my list, and I am calling from my boss to get information. So I will let them know, and we'll give you guys a call back if we need to come by.
All right, no problem. Now, if you want to call tomorrow, basically the owner will be in, and he'd probably be willing to give you a pretty steep discount to get all of these fixed at once.
Okay.
He's given really big discounts to other people who have brought us bulk amounts of stuff.
All right, sounds good. All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. You have a good one.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.